What is going down, everybody? It's time for Mojobreak.com, the hype. Episode number 179. Man, we're getting close to 200. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We've got the Luka Doncic card. We've got Donruss basketball. We've got NBA Top Shot with the All-Star game. So lots of fun stuff. And PSA price increase. Everybody's mad. We're going to talk about that as well. C-Rad, what's going down, dude?
What is up, everybody? What is up? How's everybody's week going?
It's going good so far. There's so many releases, it's hard to keep up. A lot of good releases coming out today and then the next few weeks. I mean, we're in the big swing of all this stuff coming out, and it's exciting times in this hobby.
Yep, and I guess it's particularly good news too that I guess Texas is like fully opening, so we should be getting our our products like in a timely manner. Hopefully, everything goes smoothly in terms of production and getting it out there. So
definitely. So yeah, I heard that news. I think March 10th or something. So good for you guys.
Yeah. Especially after going through that snowstorm and all that and power outage and all that stuff, man. It's tough out there.
Absolutely. Well, we also have some big news as well. 10-year anniversary for us. We've been breaking for 10 years, and starting March 15th, we're going to be doing a big promo. We're going to be giving away $10,000 worth of stuff to people that join our breaks. So just a little teaser, some more info to come on that. There'll be some fun giveaways to help us celebrate 10 years, our 10-year anniversary. Not many other breakers out there that have been doing it for 10 years. So, and we've been doing it because of you guys have been buying into our breaks, enjoying them, and keeping us going this long. So hopefully we got another, 40 years left in the tank. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. I will be breaking prison football until my hands catch arthritis.
Yeah, maybe at that time we'll just have, like, robot hands. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be, or just my head will be on a robot body at that point, and I'll be able to go faster. I know people say I'm too fast already, but I'll be able to go faster. Do robot hands action.
Hell yeah. Hey, man, prison football and Revolution, I could break Revolution for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's right. Revolution's coming out next week.
Yep.
But speaking of basketball, we got Donruss today. A lot of chatter about Donruss. Obviously, the box price really surprised folks out there. Coming out at $1,200 per hobby box on some of the major online retailers. I think other online retailers are still hovering around $1,000. And it was quite a jump. And, you've got people saying there's no Zion, there's no Ja this year. What do you think justifies this price for Donruss?
I think when we saw Donruss really take off, obviously with the Zion and Ja year, and it's particularly the Marvel insert. Now I know we're gonna talk about it in a bit, the Marvel insert, but the Marvel insert, obviously the next day autos have always been a huge thing. Doesn't look like they're in the product this year, probably because of COVID and pandemic. So they were probably not able to get those autographs
that we
right
know
away.
of. I don't know. I haven't looked at the checklist. Maybe there's some redemptions for some of them. Or...
Yeah, that's true. There might be redemptions, but yeah, it is. It's a pretty massive jump. Big jump actually from last year's Donruss, and I get it. Donruss blew up, like I said, because of the Marvels insert, because of the next day autographs. It was hard to find 1920 Donruss anywhere in the middle of last year when it really started taking off. Like you really couldn't find it anymore. So
I have a theory, and I wanted to ask you your opinion on this. I felt like we went through Donruss. It was last year's Donruss, and obviously it was. We didn't get much, but we did it. But it wasn't like a lot of hype at that time. It was kind of pre-COVID, I would say, kind of beginning of the year.
Yeah, I think we got it in November, didn't we, of 2019?
Yeah, so it was, no COVID on the horizon or anything like that. And I think we went through it, and a lot of the other breakers went through it. And am I wrong in thinking that people kind of that got into the hobby during COVID started seeing blasters of it, and maybe it was hard to hit the marbles in the blaster? You know what I mean? It's easy to hit the marbles in the hobby, but is it a lot harder to hit it in a blaster to the point where they became more sought after?
I think that probably has a part to play in it. I think the main reason I believe the Marvels took off was because everything was trending towards kind of like comic book designs, right? Like you had Gary Vee talking about it too at early last year or middle of last year, where he's like, these comic design cards, like he felt like they were gonna take, people, and then people hear that and they're like, oh yeah, like what do we have in cards
right.
that look like that? The Marvel insert, that's straight from Marvel. So
Yeah, it just doesn't. I mean, I opened it today. See, the difference was last year, like I said, we weren't even thinking about them. So
We
I
weren't
wasn't
thinking
even
about 'em at all.
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't taking a mental note of how many I pulled per box,
Nope.
any of that. Now, obviously, it's a topic, and I'm thinking about it as I'm breaking, and there's dang near one per pack. So I'm like, I mean, for one, I'm like, do I even top load these? I mean, because at first I was like, whoa, LeBron James, yeah. And then I'm like, oh, there's like 5 LeBron James, like 5 of everybody that are Marvels.
Well,
And doesn't appear to be any rookies. All legends and all stars.
second year guys, right? Like
Second
John's
year,
on.
yeah, second years and all stars. Doncic and LeBron and Curry and stuff like that. So now I'm like, I'm really lost on the whole hype behind it. If there's that many of them. So there's a couple different scenarios here. Either they just didn't make a lot of hobby, which we got severely cut, so maybe that's the case. Maybe there really isn't that many out there. It's just the hobby is that loaded that there's one per pack. Maybe if you go retail, that's going to be really hard to pull one. So maybe that's the justification of the box of it being that expensive. But we'll see. Only time will tell. That if the Marvels are like $200 a piece, then yeah, the boxes are actually going to go up, as opposed to not being worth it. So it's something to follow, definitely. Crunch time as well, about 1 per box as well. Probably an artist proof Marvel was like 1 every other box, I'd say. So we'll have to see how those end on eBay for like Curry, Doncic, LeBron, some of these bigger names. So
Yeah.
don't think it was in blasters. Ron says thought it was hobby only. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, the base cards will always do very well of the rookies, and you have the chance at getting the numbered ones all the way down to the 101s to the golds. I did pull a gold auto of a rookie, not a big one, but Pistons rookie I pulled. So Killian Hayes pulled a gold of his. So you got those chances, and I mean the base cards are iconic, so people are going to be grading those. And, yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. We got Revolution around the corner, too. So these are kind of going to be competing because you could get 2 boxes of Revolution basketball.
Almost 3.
Almost 3 for the price of 1 Donruss. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, you're getting a lot less rookies in a box of Revolution. I think you get 4. I think of what I read correctly, you get 4 rookies in a box of Revolution. I think you get 1 per pack, and then there's a pack that has an insert, I think. So that'll be interesting. That's your favorite product. Tell us about Revolution. Why should people collect Revolution basketball?
People should collect Revolution because it started off as a throwback product, right? It's when it was first released in 15-16, it was back then, in the hobby for us, or people that have been in the hobby since 15-16, 2014, people really wanted their hits. They wanted their autographs. They wanted their jersey cards. You know what I mean? They wanted their relics. And if a product didn't have that, it was kind of like nobody really cared for it. So Panini kind of went the opposite way with Revolution Basketball and said, let's see how this turns out. Let's put out a product that has in a case, 2 or 3 autographs at the most.
Yeah,
and make the product about base cards.
It was a bold move at the time when we were all about hits.
Very bold, and it like for you guys, it resonated with me when it was released, because I was like, damn. First of all, I love the design. That was one thing. Like, I actually liked looking at the cards itself. I thought the design was super cool. And then 2, I was like, I liked the idea of, like, it took me back to when I was a kid, where like I didn't get autographs or jersey cards. I only got base cards.
Right.
So for me, it super resonated and it stuck with me. And I tell people, like I said, like on last week's show, like there's probably nobody else that has opened up more Revolution than me, since the release of that product in 2015.
We definitely would like to challenge that. See if there's anybody that has broke more. Put it in the comments. Be like, hey, this guy, I think he broke more than C-Rad, and we'll see. We'll see the tail of the tape. We'll see if it matches up. I don't think it's possible. I think it's happened before.
No, I don't think so. Maybe somebody who's been opening up a ton, like in the last year or two, because of how popular everything is. You know what I mean? Like, I know that trying to find 15-16 even early last year was damn near impossible, because it just all but dried up, and everybody that had some is like either holding it, or it's like I think there's very little 15-16 that's actually out there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and that's coming out at around $450 for a hobby box of Revolution, which is insane. Revolution, I think first year it was like $70. I think last year it might have been $200 out the gate. So the demand is real. There's just not enough supply to meet the demand, and that's what's causing this stuff to go up.
Yeah.
And we've had conversations on the chat. I know you guys are like, a lot of these guys have been breaking with us for 5 years, 6 years, even a couple years. Are like, I can't afford this stuff, And we understand that, but there's a flip side to that is that the singles will sell for a lot less. I mean, so if your Revolution box go down to $70, that means your rookie cards are going to be worth the appropriate pricing as well. So it's, and I want the boxes to go down because I want breaks to be more affordable for everybody. We have to we're dang near doing a Donruss. We're doing 2 boxes of Donruss today, random teams, just so it's affordable for folks. It's under $100 that way because the pricing of Donruss is insane. So, hopefully there could be some kind of meet in the middle scenario where singles still sell well and box prices are a little bit lower. But, it's just like the housing market. When it's hot, houses are going to sell for a lot more because there's less supply, less inventory than there is demand on the product. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, even with this NBA Top Shot stuff going down, it's still people buying cards, still more demand than there is supply. So interesting to see. Speaking of demand, there's no demand or there's very little supply on this 1-of-1 Luka Doncic that sold over the weekend. I'm sure you heard of it. I mean, it's been blasted on CBS. Busta, one of our good friends in the chat, said his dad doesn't even know anything about cards, was talking about a $4.5 million card. It breaks the modern record, which was it sold for $4.6 million. It becomes the most expensive NBA card in history. Here's a little view of the card if you're not familiar with it. It's got the Logoman, player-worn Logoman, and then signed on card, and then it's a 1-of-1. And it was actually pulled by our friend Rich from Layton Sports Cards back in May of 2019. So props to that. But I want to talk about this because this is insane. This is insane that a player that's been in the league for 2 years sells for $4.6 million. I was trying to justify it. I was trying to think if I had that kind of money to spend, would I buy that? I mean, there's a whole list of other things I'd probably buy before I bought something like that. There's also a whole lot of other players I probably would buy before I would buy Luka. I get it. Luka's phenomenal. A lot of people in his camp, a lot of people on his side to be the GOAT. A lot of people are hoping that he is the GOAT. I mean, he's flashy. He hits game-winning shots. C-Rad. I mean, what do you think about $4.6 million for a player that's played for 2 years?
Incredible. I've been in the camp from the beginning, bro. Go watch Mojo episode 77. I've been on the Luka train forever, and always believed that he's gonna be one of the best players in the NBA, and he already is at his second year, in the third year in the league now. So it makes sense to me. Let's think about it this way. If, for example, Michael Jordan, right, his rookie year, if somebody was able to go back in time, like Jordan's second or third year, obviously you knew he was going to be a great player, a really good player. Maybe you didn't know if he was going to win all the championships he did and MVPs that he did, but he could score, he could do everything on the court. If you were able to go back and they only had the 86 rookie card, right? What if there was a 1-of-1 version of that card? You know what I mean?
I get your comparison, but it's not fair because we've seen the career. I would say this is like saying and buying Derrick Rose 2 years into his career. Because Derrick Rose was like MVP, the next best thing. It was 08, 09 or whatever season, he was amazing, right? So, I mean, I'm looking at it the opposite way you're looking at it. And that's kind of where we need to meet in the middle of this conversation, but it's so risky. I mean, he hasn't won anything yet. I think they won a playoff series last year, right? He hit that game-winning shot, and I mean, yes, he looks phenomenal, but it's such a big risk.
I think it's scaled, right? Because like when I was talking, my example, for example, the Luka is a 1-of-1 Logoman auto. It's the best card you can buy of Luka Doncic ever. Period. No question. There's no other better card you can buy of his, right? It's scaled because the LeBron James was just sold for what, $2 or $3 million.
Yeah,
that was out of 23.
Right, there's 22.
That wasn't even a 1-of-1.
Right.
And we've seen LeBron's career, and obviously we know LeBron is cemented as one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. So it's imagine if that was a LeBron 1-of-1 Logoman. And I get your argument. Like, we haven't seen Luka's career. We're only 3 years in, but with the way the market is, it's like he's already up there. He can compete with the best in the NBA already at his 21 years of age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we haven't got a lot of data from him because he's only been playing for 3 years. But what we've seen is I feel like it's substantial already in what he's done in his career. So
yeah, I don't just and some intel in the chat. Allegedly, the person that hit it that night, which was in 2018, around the time the product was released, I guess sold it for $100K around that same night, which. I don't know. I mean, if I rewind time and I bought into a break, let's just say, I don't know, the spot was probably under a 2,000, right? Maybe 1,000,
1,500,
maybe, I don't know. And somebody offered you $100,000 on the spot. It'd be hard to turn down. I mean, you'd have to have a crystal ball to say that this card's gonna be worth $4.6 million. And to your point, the Giannis sold for less, right?
Yeah.
So then Giannis should be the guy that bought the Giannis, and we laughed about that he spent too much money. Hey, he looks like he got a bargain at this point, right? I mean, if you take Giannis's body of work compared to Doncic body of work, then you got to think that Giannis would be the better investment, right?
I when you look at their body of work, like obviously Giannis has been playing since 2013. They're essentially at the same point in their career, and what I mean is that they both haven't won a championship. They both, Giannis has won a couple MVPs, so I guess Luka needs to do that. But yeah, so that Giannis is, you could look at it like it is like a little bit better value because Giannis has won the MVPs, but they both still have a lot to prove in their careers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they do. And somebody was asking in the chat if the Luka Doncic sale was finalized. It was a private sale. There was a check and an invoice that the picture was taken of. The two guys involved have very big cards, seem like they have a lot of money. So it all I mean, like, there literally was a personal check with the picture taken of it, a bill of sale. So
that guy flipped it from $100K to 4.6.
I don't know if it's changed hands before then, but
take that, Vegas Dave.
Yeah,
take that, son.
I know. Where you at, Vegas? Where you at, Vegas Dave?
That sting, don't it, boy?
Yeah, I know the 101 Trout, no more, is not in the lead.
That's not the best flip.
That's not the best flip. And then, but I'm just like kind of thinking about it because I'm like, man, I would rather buy a bunch of Jordans. I'd rather buy a bunch of LeBrons. I'd rather buy, I mean, on the safer side of investments. But I'm thinking, a lot of things are going on in this world right now where maybe this person has a lot of capital gains in life, and this is just my thought process. I don't know for sure. I don't know who this guy is. But maybe he needed to just spend that kind of money because he would have got taxed on it, right? So you got to think about that too. Some of us that don't have $4 million. I don't have anywhere close to $4 million. Some guy may have made so much money on the stock market, let's just say, and he cashed out like, I don't know, $150, $200 million. He's going to get taxed on that. So if he buys a $4.5 million card, then he doesn't have to pay taxes on $4.5 million, so to speak, until he sells the card.
Right.
So, I mean, there could be that going on too. Once again, I thought about that. I was like, I'd probably rather buy a house. I'd probably rather buy a couple houses, like maybe invest a little bit in other places. But
I think about it from this person, like you're saying. I think about it from the perspective of the person that has the money to buy this type of card. Obviously, you're a little bit of a gambler if you're buying the Luka instead of something like a high-end LeBron or Jordan or Brady. So you are a little bit of a gambler in that sense. But yeah, like you were like you were saying, it's somebody with a lot of money. It could be a tax write-off. You don't know. It could just like be a drop in the bucket for him. He just wanted to own something that he felt like nobody else has, obviously, and that in a player that has so much potential.
Yeah, or I was thinking, what about this? You compare it to like hunting deers, where it's like, I got the biggest deer. I got the biggest deer. So is there a guy that's, or yeah, I'll show you 4.5. I'm about to buy a $5 million card. And then you got the next. Maybe we may get to the point where every week we're like, oh, there's just another one. It's just not. We're not even paying attention to this anymore. There's so many of these.
Yep.
It's like,
yep.
Jason Dominguez Superfractor, $6 million. I mean, I'm just throwing out numbers, but. When you get to that, you get to that yacht level elite type of person, it may be like, you think you're in the lead? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it may be like we might start having guys just overpay for cards just to be like, and they're
Just to
publicizing,
flex.
they're publicizing this stuff so much now,
Yeah.
you know, that it could be like, oh, I get to make it on the news,
It's
maybe
just,
I could,
just
you know,
for clout, bro.
right, just the flex on cards like that. I mean, so
That's very possible too. It's just rich guys just trying to stun on each other, and that's pretty much it.
yeah. So I mean, 4.6 million. I mean, that's literally insane.
Oh man,
I couldn't
beautiful
fathom it.
card. Congratulations.
You know, but I like the I don't like.
You don't like the horizontal.
No, I don't.
I know.
like the vertical. I just my cards need to be vertical. I just look at them that way. They need to be vertical.
For me, Logoman's like I you know, either way is fine for me. But I get like the people who only like the vertical Logomans because it just looks because it's a vertical patch, right? So
I just like vertical cards. Like I have like 15 Tatises and they're horizontal. I just hate looking at it. Like you got the PSA slab. It just doesn't match up. I mean, like
you know, I do. It's interesting because Panini, they like to always switch it up on us. Like with football national treasures and basketball national treasures, they always switch it up. Like they never stick to horizontal or vertical. They like switch it every single year. So it's like it's always like a. Hopefully Wiseman this year is a vertical, huh?
I know, seriously. And then there's also the point, and I don't. It's funny how this got brushed under the rug because we talked about it when we first had intel about it, and once again, nothing's ever been proven. But if you look at early Luka Doncic autos, and you look at stuff that you've seen him sign in person, where there's a video of it, it's a very less loopy, less, I guess feminine is the word. It's a more masculine-looking L. Then all of a sudden, midway through that season, because we see a lot of his autographs, we open a lot of his products, all of a sudden, it was the Lulu. And then there was even Optic, remember? Optic had both. It was almost like there was a double signing thing going on. A lot of alleged stuff. I don't want to get myself into trouble, but people are thinking that maybe his mother signed some of these cards, and that would be the mother version of the signature compared to the more masculine version of Luka's cards. But he's almost like he can't do wrong in the hobby. Like people don't want to like, no, it's not real. No, can't happen. Are you sure? No. He just changes auto up. But do a quick Google search of Luka Doncic signatures and you'll see, especially I think the Flawless Collegiate was for sure signed by him. You could tell. And some of the early Upper Deck stuff was absolutely signed by him. And then you go into some of the halfway through the Panini releases, and it's a Lulu signature.
I'll also add a little bit to it because for those that were with us around the 2018 season, I pulled more Lukas than everybody else. I'm gonna say that too. So I've seen that Luka auto a bazillion trillion times. So one thing to note too that season, usually with big superstars, like halfway through the season, you'll start seeing redemptions of them. At least in some products, because they just don't have time to sign as much. You know, they're in the thick of their career.
Yep.
And I'm saying this from experience because you know I've been opening our products since 2014, and I see it every year with the top guys. At least one or two of them always. He signed everything, bro.
I know he didn't.
He signed everything except
wasn't
until Contenders Optic, which was like
10
months later.
Yeah, that's right. He was.
Bro, he signed everything. He was in every product. Just think about that. Yeah. He signed everything.
And there's definitely different versions of his autograph. So I don't know. I hope it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just. You be the judge. But I just hope for that guy's sake that if he bought a $4.6 million card and it was signed by somebody other than Luka, that sucks. And the fact that the Logoman is not game. It's not a game worn Logoman either.
Yeah.
So there literally was nothing on that card that might have been touched by Luka Doncic.
You know what's crazy? Like we're talking about that, but at the end of the day, Luka wins his 6 championships. He wins the 6 MVPs or whatever. That card goes to like 100 million or whatever. It won't matter.
I could have signed it.
Yeah, it won't matter at that point.
It doesn't really matter. Yeah.
But it is something to think about if you're buying a Luka autograph.
Yeah, definitely something to think about. But yeah, we'll get into the next subject, which actually Steven was asking a question about this. But the collecting community is outraged at the PSA price increase. Which happened on Monday, and they just sold their company not too long ago as well. So the new ownership not making any friends in the hobby, but they needed to do something, and I'll tell you why they needed to do this, in my opinion. But
I haven't heard of this. What's
They
the
were
increase?
under an ongoing crush of submission and watching secondary markets for its cards explode. PSA has raises prices for trading cards, grading, and authentication. Many of the new pricing levels represent 100% increased in costs to collectors and dealers. Collectors Club Value Services, which account for much of the company's huge backlog of submission, will now cost a minimum of $20 per card as opposed to $10 under the previous rates. Card produced from 2018 and up will now cost $25. PSA did lower the minimum order requirements from 20 cards to 10 and raised the declared threshold from $199 to $499. It's those newer cards arriving at the company's office in massive amounts each day that are overwhelming PSA's work staff, which has increased by 167 in work staff. Wow, 167 people in the last 2.5 months.
That's some detail we never knew about.
Yeah, according to President Steve Sloan. The increased submission cost is expected to temper the flood of orders and allow graders to chip away at the backlog. So you can kind of see here on the next slide, the value is it is $20 per card, but a 10-card minimum. The economy is $50 per card. The regular is $100 per card. The express is $150 per card. Super Express is $300 per card, and walkthrough is $600. So PSA, the economy service, which will be suspended indefinitely, will go up from 20 to 50. Express, so yeah, the economy is suspended indefinitely, which no longer has a guaranteed 15 rate. See its jump rate from 150 to 75. Those sending in cards with maximum value of $9,999 will have to pay $100 for a regular service for blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it sucks.
Damn.
It's a big price hike. Long term, it sucks, but long term, I like that. You know what? We were having too many $10 cards were being sent in that were $100 after their PSA 10. It was flooding the market. Right, you were taking the Ronald Acuñas they were selling for $10, and now they're PSA $10. They were selling for $100, $150, $200. Great for the people that graded them, but long term, the population report is huge. So now we got to think: do we want to send in these $5 or $10 cards? They have to do something to get rid of their backlog. Not on the side of PSA. Once again, price increase like that is crazy. But at some point, enough is enough. They need to figure out, and they need to get whole where they're back to waiting a certain period of time. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you, but damn, that's a big increase. Yeah. I saw like the Express, that one used to be 75, right? So yeah, like everything's 100% more, so 150 now. Damn.
Yeah.
Like I don't send in a lot of cards for grading, and people who break with us know that. I say it all the time on the stream. Like I always intend to send cards in, but I never do. Look like I'm not gonna be sending anything in anytime soon either. So, yeah. But it definitely sucks for people who love to send in like their low dollar cards. Try to get a good grade and be able to flip it and make some money. But yeah. They got to catch up to that huge backlog, and if anything, this may, have people try out these other companies too. Which, in the end, who knows? Competition is a good thing.
Yeah, HGA jumped right on it in a dirty, sleazy way. They're like, "We'll never raise prices at the moment. We just want to, blah 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 blah." Like it's easy for you guys to say. You guys started like 4 weeks ago or whatever it was, but yeah, they didn't hesitate to put out a Facebook post. And yes, the same investment group that bought PSA also bought Golden Auctions. Don't have a slide for this, but there was an interesting tidbit of information as Ken Golden, the owner of Golden Auctions, who sold part of his company for $40 million, was doing a break of Pokemon with Logan Paul. And I guess, I don't know, maybe one of the first or second packs, I think a Charizard came out, and he was all, if that's not a PSA 10, I will talk to my friends at PSA. So I think that, I haven't watched the video, so I don't know if that's word for word, but that's what I heard. So that raised some questions about, who does he know at PSA? Like, why does he have control over it? How can he make a PSA 10? So, yeah.
You can't say those things, man, even if you got that pull.
Yeah, you can't influence any grades. We want to hopefully think that this whole thing is transparent. The whole grading process is transparent, so... backlog, Steven said backlog was great before they sold. Guaranteed income if there is a big backlog. Yeah. Here's some of the comments you can see on social media. I would hope once you're somewhat caught up with the backlog, you consider bringing the prices back to a more reasonable level. I know that's asking a lot, but you just lost an insane amount of collectors. I would fire whoever's in charge over logistics over there. The answer to the supply and demand problem wasn't to raise prices. Should be opening up more offices and hiring more people. Big time hit to small time submitters, going to be $12 to $20 on value sub is huge. Damn, PSA in June, just in June it was $20 per card, and then in October it was $50 a card, and now it's $100. Y'all reaching. So, yep. I mean, definitely, not. People are not big fans of it. Anytime anything raises, people aren't big fans of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if they're ever going to do it, they can do it. I mean, they have such a stranglehold on the market. All their cards sell for the most. So maybe they don't want to deal. They don't want to deal with the $50, $60 cards. The cards that are anywhere from $10 to $100. They don't want to deal with those much anymore. They want to deal with like the big money cards, and they want to give priority to those. I don't know. I don't know what the philosophy is, but this was was what they decided to do to prevent the backlog. Yeah, I don't know.
Damn. So yeah, it's tough.
I mean, I guess if you put that in comparison, like if we couldn't handle the demand of breaks, would we triple the cost of breaks? We probably wouldn't have any customers. But
yeah,
I don't know. They're like the standard, right? So we'll see. We'll see how much goes back to HGA, how much goes to BGS.
Didn't BGS up their prices recently?
They upped their prices too, but they didn't do as much of a drastic move as this. Yeah,
increase. Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah, they're private now. They don't care anymore. I mean, that's something to watch out for too. Is they were public before, so they had to abide by their shareholders. They had to abide by their shareholders' meetings. They basically forced those people to cash out. Well, I don't know. Then if that's what they're gonna do, then this company is gonna get run into the ground. If they're not listening to the collectors. I mean, even Panini listens. Panini, Topps, all these guys, they listen to the collectors. They figure out what collectors want. So, I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, let's talk about some Top Shot. Man, Top Shot really, I mean, a couple months ago we didn't even talk about Top Shot. Now they're announcing the All-Star Rising Stars lineup, and they're going to have packs to go along with it.
So it's going to be hot.
Yeah, they went from like nothing to like part of the NBA all of a sudden. It's crazy. So
full integration.
In lieu of the Rising Stars game, we at NBA Top Shot, along with the NBA and National Basketball Players Association, have handpicked 20 individual moments from the 2021 season to highlight each of the players chosen to the U.S. team and the World Team. These moments, immortalized as digital collectibles on the blockchain, will be available unprecedented at NBA Top Shot this weekend. Add your favorites to the collection when packs drop on March 7th or shortly thereafter on a peer-to-peer marketplace. Get in. You'll be like 500,000 in line. There'll be 10,000 packs. So you're saying there's a chance. So,
there's a chance. Small one.
But looking at this roster, you got the U.S. team roster of LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, Halliburton, Hero, DeAndre Hunter, Keldon Johnson, John Morant, Michael Porter, Zion, and James Wiseman. World team roster of Achua, Alexander Walker, Denny Avdija, R.J. Barrett, Facunda Campaza.
Damn, I thought you was about to cuss right there. I didn't know that was his name.
Facunda. I probably butchered it. Brandon Clark on there. Lugens Dort, Rui Hachimura, Theo Maludon, and Michael Mulder. Michael Mulder from the Dubs made it. So they're going to have these 20 moments of these guys. Any guys on the U.S. roster that, obviously Zion and LaMelo's all priced pretty high, but any of these guys you think are pretty good price to get their cards, like a DeAndre Hunter or Keldon Johnson?
For their Top Shot card?
Well, just in general to invest in.
Wiseman, Halliburton. I think Halliburton I've been saying it like the past few weeks. I think Halliburton by the time like Prism National Treasures comes out, he's going to be one of the most sought after rookies. He looks King's got a good one. So
it's been a while.
Yeah. They haven't necessarily been striking out. They looked pretty bad when they took Bagley over Luka, and that's gonna live with them forever probably.
Yeah.
But they've been picking up some good draft. But Halliburton looked like he was a steal at the 12th pick. So, Halliburton, Wiseman, of course, I'm always gonna pick him. But it's a shame. Like I'm looking at this, we were kind of talking about it before too. It's like this is exciting for Top Shot and for people that are into Top Shot. But this would have been a fun game to watch too, like actually in person.
Yeah, they won't be having the game.
Yeah, they're not actually going to be doing the game itself. So I guess this is the second. It's kind of we get this instead, which is nice, especially for people that are really into the Top Shot right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at guys like maybe Keldon Johnson on here, or DeAndre Hunter, who's, the Hawks are obviously, he's overshadowed by Trae Young and some.
I mean, if you open a pack and you get any of those USA guys, you can't go wrong, bro. Now the world side, there might be some guys that are less desirable that may not, pan out or whatever.
Like Michael Mulder for the Warriors.
Like we love him, but like his demand and price, like it's probably not gonna go up much.
And I mean, what Cam Reddish was Cam Reddish a lottery pick?
He was.
Mm-hmm. So DeAndre Hunter getting in there instead of Cam Reddish. So
that is interesting. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent on the Hawks.
A lot.
And who they have this year? Who's their guy that they got this year?
Onyeka.
Okay.
Okongwu.
So out of those three guys, one of them's got to be a pretty solid investment between Cam, Nwaku, and DeAndre Hunter made the roster.
Yeah,
so.
That's interesting because from what I understand, I think collectors are leaning more towards Cam Reddish as a prospect to like pick up. But obviously, all of the young Hawk players have been playing decently this year. I think they just fired their coach, right? But yeah.
Because I always look at, as a collector myself and somebody to invest in, I always look at these like who's undervalued here, and obviously we look at Zion and LaMelo. I mean, those prices are already pretty high. John Morant pretty high.
Yeah.
Michael Porter's climbed up; he's pretty high. But which is, I guess they considered Michael Porter because he only played last year, right? But he's a Luka rookie year card.
Mm-hmm.
So those boxes are unobtainable. But I'm looking at maybe Keldon or DeAndre Hunter might be the next guys that are pretty affordable to get into.
Yep.
And the Spurs, he's playing with Pop. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? What do you think as far as Ron Bot said LaMelo? He's already pretty high, but maybe has still some room to grow. He looked pretty good the other day against the Dubs. Who else did they play? I watched a condensed game against Lillard, and he was actually out there balling, man. So
it was old Melo versus young Melo.
Yep. Oh yeah. They had the old Melo hitting the threes, double zero.
Because Carmelo was balling that game too.
Yeah, he was hitting the threes.
So that was fun, but
yeah. And maybe he is the better ball. Maybe it's time for me to give it up that Lonzo.
He won't be a top 5 point guard in 5 years.
Well, I won't give that, but maybe he won't be as good as his brother LaMelo. LaMelo's the better ball, the stronger ball out there. Plays ball better than the other ball. So, but we're just getting to the beginning of the season, man. We'll see. We got Prism. We got this is
Prism's going to be the end all be all release. I feel like that's probably what like 99% of people waiting for.
Yep. Yeah, and we're
where you at with Top Shot right now? Are you still looking to try to get packs of Top Shot, or are you just like I did want to talk about Top Shot a little bit because last week we talked about it and there was a comment that said like we were kind of like we should have remember you know what I'm talking about? It's like we're not saying that this is not that Top Shot can't be a big thing, like if you're into it, if you're like we didn't talk about the NFT part of it. Which is something like you just told me about this past week too. It's like we were, if you're into it, great, dude. Like it's just we just wanted to kind of like put some. I'm sure like a lot of people have doubts about what's going on about it.
We got to report both sides of it.
Yeah. So.
And I think somebody said we're worried about it taking money from breaks. No. I mean, just like I don't know if you guys seen the movie Basketball. I made all my money in college, just like Shaq did. So I'm really not worried about Top Shot. So,
yeah.
And it's two different things, really. I mean, there's collectors. That's why most of the collectors in our chat are like, why am I buying a GIF? Like why can't I just go on YouTube and watch it? Yeah, yes, you can. But that's not what it is. So it's two different types. Yes, it's a collectible, and the pack opening experience might be similar to the hobby, but it's two completely different animals. So
yeah. And if you're into one or the other more than the other, great. Like there's nothing. There's people that strongly believe that this is something that could take off and be big, which is great. If you believe in that, like, there's nothing wrong with that. And me researching it more a little on my own too. Like, I'm starting to understand it more. Like, I didn't really understand the NFT aspect of it, but I was looking into some like artwork and stuff like that, where you could buy digital pieces of artwork, and that part makes sense to me because I was like, art is so subjective. Like you can like one thing that somebody else may not like. You value it more than that person. So if I see something that I like, like keep it in like a kind of like a digital, keep it as like a digital currency. And you get something that you can actually look at. It's a cool idea. I get it.
A lot of people asking where Dan is. Dan just took this show off. He'll be back next show hopefully. So yeah, he's still alive and he still works for Mojobreak. So he'll be here next week. So yeah, you don't have Kamucho or Windex Boy for this show, but he'll be glad to know that some of you guys missed.
Let
him,
me peel
so
back
great.
the curtain for you guys.
Yeah. But back on the NFTs, I was actually thinking about it. You may see this happen in the music industry if you think about it, right? If artists,
That's an idea.
yeah,
That's an idea.
I probably shouldn't put this out there, but I'm sure there's already people thinking about it. But like, say you're like a big artist or a semi-big artist, and you're like, you know what, the album is going to release in 2 months, but a month before, you're putting every song out there via NFT,
Or even snippets, bro.
right? It's serial numbered, right? So that you're getting these guys that are buying, like, say it's Taylor Swift or Metallica. You're getting the Metallica. You're getting the one of 9,000 or the one of 10,000 of each song, right? And then that trades, and then the artist is able to make money off of each trade, just like Top Shot does, right? You can even take it a step further, where like an up and coming band releases their first album, and then maybe you're like the Beatles. You got the first song of the Beatles. You know what I mean? And you got an NFT. Right? You got like the first serial numbered song of the Beatles, and you're one of the 4,000 people that have it, right? Just think about that.
I'm a music person, so I'm liking this already.
You know what I mean? And that could be a way for artists and stuff to take back some of their royalties that they're losing from like streaming and stuff like that, that they start releasing NFTs of their song. Now, I'm not saying that the person that owns that song is the only one that listens to it. They'll put it out on Spotify and iTunes later, but you're actually going to have the NFT that's on their marketplace. Right, so just think about that. Like, think about that from a music standpoint. That's what I was like, man, that's gonna be crazy, right?
And I think that's why people are excited about NFTs just in general, not just Top Shot. It's the possibilities of it, right? Just like cryptocurrency, it's like the possibility of being able to put your money somewhere, getting something in return, and like being able to hold something while it keeps its value there, right?
Well, I mean, the first band to do it'll probably be a huge success. I mean, it would have to be.
Just want to chime in here, guys. I just saw Kings of Leon is releasing their next album as an NFT.
There you go.
Boy, let's go.
See?
I'm in there.
I didn't even know that. So, yeah, I mean, and they're a fairly big band. I mean, they're probably not like as big as like Swift or anything like that. But the moment that starts happening, and these fans are crazy. I mean, I'm a crazy fan of the bands that I love. So, I'm part of the Metallica vinyl club. I'm buying.
Anybody who's a fan of anybody knows how far you would go to like purchase like to get an exclusive whatever
and be able to listen to the song early, especially if it's like you got a solid month of like I got the NFT, like, and then you could even probably trade that up into the release day where nobody's even heard it, right? So, man, it could be literally crazy. So, but yeah, so. Enough about that because it's not sports card related, but we got.
Well, I mean, it
kind of is. It crosses over,
right?
You know,
like we talk. It's in the vein of Top Shot because it's such a huge thing right now, and people are trying to understand it. And then some people are like, "I'm just gonna go in without understanding because I think it may be huge." You know, like there's a lot of different people coming in at the on this stuff and from different angles. So,
yeah, absolutely. And that's. I don't want to say the dollar's devaluing, but you guys can do the math. We're not a political show. That's probably one of the reasons why these hobby boxes are pricing up. That's why some people are spending stupid money is because the dollar's being worth less than it has been for a long period of time. That's why people are investing in other stuff. So that explains some of the price hikes on these products as well. And I don't think it'll ever go back to where it was like 2018, 2016, 2015, 2012 prices of products, but it's a crazy world we live in. So, but we're having fun opening up cardboard. We're having fun talking about cardboard, and it's something to keep your mind off of stuff that's going on, right? I mean, it's coming to our chat. You come into any of these sports card guys' chats, and we're talking about sports cards. We're not talking about the stuff that's going on outside sports cards. So, but anyways, that's all we got for today's show, guys. We've got a lot of releases on the site for group breaks, mojobreak.com for your group breaks. We've got Donruss breaking today. We've got plates and patches football that came out today that looks incredible. They have this. You'll see it. They have upper echelon on-card auto. I just fell in love with this year for rookies. It's not even a patch auto. It's just an upper echelon. I just love the design. Prism EPL Soccer's hot. That just came out.
I didn't know that was a Prism product, bro.
Yep, Prism Soccer. I did 2 3-box breaks of it today. Pretty awesome. We've got Revolution around the corner.
Do some of that on the weekend.
We've got Inception Baseball that is coming out in a few weeks. We got Donruss Baseball coming out next week. So lots of fun stuff to participate. If you've never broke with us before, Mojobreak.com is the website. The schedule is on the right side if you're on a computer. It's on the bottom if you're on your mobile phone. And everything's scheduled and everything's guaranteed to break. It makes it easy to find out when you want to get into something. And we're doing pre-orders now of Revolution. That's on the site, so grab your teams. If you want to break your own box, you're like, hey, breaks aren't for me. I want to break boxes, maybe with your kids. Go to mojobreakshop.com, and we'll ship boxes sealed to you. So 2 different websites, mojobreak.com to get into breaks and mojobreakshop.com to get your own sealed boxes. So, all right, that's it for episode 179. We'll see you next week for episode 180, and breaks will start here in about 20 minutes. We'll start with some more Donruss, so just come back in 20 minutes. And C-Rad will be breaking some Donruss. Peace.